Hi everyone, Susan Storm here, and today I want to go into 5 signs that you are in a grip state of stress if you are an INFJ or an INTJ. First off, if you don't know who I am, I'm a certified MBTI practitioner and the founder of a website called psychologyjunkie.com where you can find over 1,000 articles about the 16 personality types. With that said, let's jump right into those 5 signs. Sign number 1, you feel more impatient than usual. In your typical state of mind as an INFJ or an INTJ, you tend to be very receptive to ideas, to patterns, to insights, and that requires a great deal of patience. However, when you're in the state of grip stress, you feel very impatient and restless. There's an itch to take action, an itch to experience something. Sign number 2, you become much more impulsive. Normally, you're very future focused. You're a long-term planner. But when you are in the grip of extroverted sensing, you are suddenly ruled by the now. You start chasing instant gratification. And this can show up in overspending, overindulgence, a rash eruption of temper or emotion. And often this feels very overwhelming because normally you're someone who carefully thinks things through. Sign number 3 that you're in the grip. You're obsessed with fixing things in your physical environment. When SE takes over, you start noticing everything: the mess on the counter, the dishes, the noise, the temperature, that one crooked picture frame. It all feels like just too much. You might find yourself scrubbing floors at midnight, or replacing all the light bulbs with a different shade, or feeling like you suddenly need to repaint or redecorate your entire house. When you are in an SE grip, you suddenly become fixated on anything in your environment that feels out of place or just not quite right. Sign number 4 that you are in an SE grip: you have a very all or nothing relationship with experiences. So when you are in a normal state of mind, you can eat and stop when you're full, right? You can have a glass of wine and be done. When you're in an SE grip, yes, you can do those things, but it's much harder. Instead of eating one cookie for dessert, you feel like you want to eat 2 dozen cookies. When someone is in the grip, they tend to really go overboard with their inferior function. And for you as an INFJ or an INTJ, this can show up as going overboard with sensory pleasures, whether that's food, whether that's intimacy, whether that's drinking, whether that's music, whether it's even exercise. Sign number 5, you are losing sight of meaning. You're losing sight of depth. Generally, as an INFJ or INTJ, you are very driven to find the deeper meaning behind things. You have a very quiet, contemplative nature. But when you're in the grip, the big picture disappears. You can't see your purpose. You can't spot the patterns. You only feel and sense the crisis around you and the overstimulation around you. Chances are you feel both overstimulated and highly desirous of some form of stimulation at the same time. Like you might want to turn down all the lights and shut the door, but you also might feel compelled to eat all the Cheetos in the pantry or to drink too much wine. You feel trapped in your body. Everything feels like too much, but you also feel like you need too much. You feel like you need to act on your impulses. You need to just give in. You feel disconnected from your why, trapped in kind of a loop of overreacting to life instead of directing it, instead of quietly being present in the moment. But what do you do about it? How do you get out of SE grip? There's more. I've written about this in an article, which I will link to, but just a few pointers. One, you need to be able to get away from all the commotion for a little while and focus on your breathing. This is always the first step whenever you're experiencing any kind of increasing stress. Shutting out responsibilities and people and noise and just going to your room or a quiet place where you can focus on taking deep breaths. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds. Whatever type of breathing technique works for you, work on that. When you can calm down your body, you can get out of that fight or flight response. 2, if you're an INFJ, one thing that can be really helpful is to write down what you're going through in a journal and then read it back to yourself. This can help you to process your emotions and experience and understand them in a more positive way. Sometimes INFJs feel really overwhelmed when they internally try to process their feelings, but if they can externally process them, that's much more effective. But they generally need a good dose of alone time first. So before you go out and try to vent to someone you know or write all your feelings down, just focus on regulating your breathing and getting your body acclimated. INTJs also benefit from journaling, but another thing that helps them is being able to just solve one easy problem, wakes up the thinking part of their personality and makes them feel a little bit more confident and a little less overwhelmed. So this can mean sorting out and organizing the junk drawer in your kitchen, being able to check off just a couple of things off your mental load as an INTJ can really help you to find that balance. But first, again, you really need that alone time. You really need that space to get away from the noise and the commotion and the sensory overstimulation. Another thing that is helpful for both types is exercise. Exercise releases stress reducing endorphins. So when you're feeling that sensory overstimulation, but you're also feeling that simultaneous push for sensory stimulation at the same time, which seems really contradictory, but it happens. One way that you can really help with that is to give into the sensory, but in a healthy, positive way. So go out for a walk in nature or do some stretches or some yoga. You're doing something physical so that feeds that restless urge to do something actionable and something sensory, but you're also doing something that's healthy for your body and your mind. Just don't overdo it. Give yourself a break. Make sure that you are replenishing your introverted needs for quiet time, for space, and for reflection. Now, these are just a few things. There's much more you can do. Be sure to check out my website where I've written much more about this subject. Thank you for watching and like and subscribe for more videos like this. See you next time, everyone.